Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome back to the digital edition of NHL Now. Jackie Redmond, EJ Raddick, and head coach of the Washington Capitals, Todd Reirden, who we have to say happy belated birthday to as we kick off the show. Yesterday was your birthday, correct, sir?
Yes, thank you for the wishes. 49 yesterday, so I'm looking for a real strong year here before the big 50. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, we're happy to have you. What has quarantine been like for you? It's been, over 3 months now. How have you kept busy?
Yeah, it's been a challenge for sure, and going through a different way of life than any of us have ever known before. So, what it really did is it allowed me to connect heavily with my family. We were in Falls Church, Virginia, for 95% of this time in this pause. And it's been great for us as a family. I don't think I've spent that many nights under the same roof since I was 14 or 15. So it's been great for our family to be able to help out my son, who's Travis, who's 17, turning 18, and help him with some schoolwork as he was doing stuff online and do some things around our house. But then also still continue to grow as a coach. So getting together with my coaches every week and tuning this into some different Zoom calls from some different businesses. So I've made the best of my time, but I'm ready to get back at it here. Just 2 weeks away, let's hope.
Coach, you mentioned your son Travis. I got to meet Travis at the All-Star game in St. Louis, I believe it was, and that was a lot of fun. He seems like a really great young man. And, he's got a little bit of a health challenge that, as a father and as parents, you've got to be concerned with what's happening. Give us a little background there and what he's facing and what he's been dealing with.
Yeah, so Travis was diagnosed, I'd say, going into third grade with an immune deficiency issue where he is not able to fight off, the common cold and a number of different viruses that come his way. So what's happened is he has to have a plasma treatment now. And, I got to go back to originally the Pittsburgh Penguins for helping me get this medical care underway for him. And then now the Washington Capitals have been phenomenal. The doctors in Washington have been tremendous, where he gets a plasma treatment every month for his blood to be able to help build up his immune system. And it's been interesting because going into the coronavirus with everything that was going on, he actually said, I want to take a break from taking my treatments. He goes, maybe somebody else may want to or need to use this service. And, we didn't really want to have him going into the doctor's office and doing different things. So he's actually taken a little bit of time off. And with the fact of him not going to school or doing anything, he's had his healthiest 3 months. So really happy for him. And we're going to continue to look after and make sure that he's taken care of. I'm actually out in Valparaiso, Indiana right now, where my wife is from, and they're going to stay with some family and friends here until training camp gets up and running and we know everything is safe and in order. And then I'll have them stop back in the DC area before we head out to our hub city. So it's been a really good time for us to reconnect and spend a bunch of time. And he's kind of taken had a few laughs with it as well. He's like, you see how it feels now, not being able to go to gatherings and all this stuff and washing your hands all the time. He goes, that's the life I've been living for years.
Yeah, he's like, welcome to my world.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
how to properly wash your hands. No, it's so good to hear that he's had a really healthy few months though, and that you, like a lot of people, are getting serious quality family time. But you mentioned training camp. Hopefully, if everything keeps going well, just a couple of weeks away, and then only a month or so away from some real competitive hockey. As a coach, how are you preparing to prepare your team for this unprecedented format that we're going to enter here, hopefully in August?
Exactly. It's definitely unprecedented. I think that's the key word. But the thing that before we even get into that is it's just an exciting time. If we're going to be able to be playing hockey and other sports are getting going here, that means that our world is headed in the right direction health-wise. And I know the NHL won't put us into a situation, any of us, but players, coaches, trainers, people that work at the arenas to help us get up and running yourselves if it's not safe. And that's the exciting part of where we're headed here in the next couple of weeks is we're getting healthier as a nation. So we're going to, hopefully provide a little bit of excitement, even though it's going to be without fans. That'll be a challenge for sure. But for us, it's something where we've got a number of different plans in place. And as we get closer to training camp, we'll find out about some of the, limitations in terms of training camp. And then once we do go to our hub city, but it's something that we know that it's not going to be perfect. We've got to expect the unexpected. It's been probably the comment I've said most to players and coaches during these last 3 months is that's how it's going to be. And to me, it's going to be the team that adjusts and is the most adaptable that's going to have the most success. So it's going to be something that none of us have gone through, and you've got to be able to think on your toes. And, like I said, I like my veteran team and the fact that we've been through some things together. It hasn't been all smooth sailing this year. Obviously got off to a great start in the beginning of the year and faltered a little bit through the midway, but our team's excited to get back at it and hopefully have a good start here with those first few round robin games and then get the playoffs going.
Todd, how much communication have you been able to be in with your players and coaching staff? I know one of your coaches actually left for a college job. Reed Cashman left to take a job at Dartmouth. So there's a little bit of a change with your staff. But how much communication has there been between everybody within your group?
Yeah, and I think that, going into this and looking back on it, I've got such a strong staff, obviously our coaching staff with Scott Arneal and Blaine Forsythe. Reed Cashman he'll continue to stay with us through this playoff run.
Okay.
So he'll join Dartmouth after our goalie coach, Scott Murray, and our video coaches, Tim Ohashi and Brett Leonhardt. But I think it's been our support staff that's really been solid. Our trainer, Jason Service, and our strength and conditioning coach, Mark Nemish, have been the real studs, I think, during this quarantine and pause time, because they've been the ones that have had to take all the health calls, which are the most important. And then still be able to set our players up with the proper training, given the different situations they have. Some have had a full gym in their basement, some have had some synthetic ice, and some haven't had any of the above. So it's been a little bit of a mix and match with what we've had, and it's been a great challenge. I mean, that's been the thing is, as coaches, sometimes you get into the routine of doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it's really been something. Every day has been something different. A different challenge comes your way, and so we as a coaching staff touch base every week, throughout this whole thing, whether it's sometimes if it's a Zoom call or it's a conference call or it's an email or texting and individual calls. But my staff, why I was talking about the importance is we've all tried to hit up our players different times. So it's not always Todd calling, it's everybody checking in, and just every few days seeing how everybody's doing. And I think that's the most important thing is just to have that contact, and most importantly, make sure everybody's safe. And they all have been, luckily, and really hope as they're all traveling in that they remain safe. And for that matter, all players that are coming in here in these next 2 weeks, really, take the precautions you need to and through travel. And hopefully we can limit those number of positive tests as we get closer to the actual training camp time.
And part of this hub city format too, like it's got to bring you back, and it's going to bring a lot of these players back to their youth, playing for travel teams, going to tournaments, you're in the same place the whole time. You've got your different game times. Like, I think there's a really cool element of this that kind of brings you back to being a kid playing hockey.
It absolutely does. And I mean, even if we're talking about playing maybe 2 games in a day at some hub cities, most likely because of the importance of trying to get this in these games in a timely manner, timely fashion. So, I mean, sometimes you may have to be waiting for the game before you to get over that's in an overtime game. So there's so many different scenarios that can go on. And like I said, to me, it's going to be who's able to adapt the best, who's able to, be able to think on their toes and react accordingly, and be able to take what happens in stride. So I think that's one thing that we've talked a lot about, and it's going to be a challenge. No one's ever done it. Who's going to respond the best? I mean, this is going to make for probably one of the biggest challenges ever in NHL history. So as opposed to saying that maybe it shouldn't have an asterisk, not have an asterisk, I think it's going to be an unbelievable challenge. And throughout the league, it's going to be interesting to see how each team deals with it.
Yeah, it won't be easy for these teams, that's for sure. But for the fans, it's going to be dramatic and as fun as ever, I would think, just based on the format. And all-day hockey all night long for, a month and a half is going to be so fun and refreshing.
Players are healthy all over the league now. So guys that normally they wouldn't even have been able to see in the playoffs are now on, going to be able to be a part of this. Everyone's rested. Well, it's obviously there's going to be some rust, depending upon how long that training camp ends up being. But I think we're going to end up seeing, obviously, like I said, a lot of star players that normally wouldn't even have partaken in this playoffs. And the number of teams, we get to see some teams that weren't going to be in the playoffs now be a part of it. And I think that's what it's really about, is selling, in my opinion, the best game in the world and continue to build it. And I think it's going to be amazing for fans to take this in. It's going to be great for the media to be able to cover so many different angles and so many different stories, and some really exciting times for our game.
Yeah, fans are super excited. Thank you so much for joining us, Todd. We appreciate
Thanks, Todd.
the time. Best
thanks.
of luck prepping for this unprecedented situation. We can't wait to see you behind the bench.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me on, and stay safe. Thanks again.